welcome everyone. This is Irene with SaugaTalks. Hello, I'm extremely excited today. We do talk here at SaugaTalks on multiple topics about AI, automation, digital transformation, future of work. Lots of exciting themes out there, but today is really special day for me. So before we get going, please make sure you subscribe to SaugaTalks on YouTube, that you follow us on LinkedIn, on X, and that you let us know, okay, how we're doing in terms of engagement, in terms of your opinions, because we all read about exciting stuff that technology offering us, about exciting themes, and today is that kind of conversation. Dev Aditya and Pauldy Otermans is here. How are you?
We are very well, thank you. Thanks for having us. I know we've been obviously speaking for a while and we've been traveling. So thanks for making the time today. Absolute pleasure to be here.
I can only echo
how
that.
are you? Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you so much for the invite. I'm happy to see you again.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure because I know you're very busy. You're traveling all over the world and you're just the right experts to talk about human AI teacher. Okay. No less than that. To me, it's a new universe. AI in education, AI for students, for teachers, for professionals, and everyone in between. Absolutely welcome. So let's start somewhere. Let's start about concept of AI as a teacher, because many of us excited about it, many of us kind of aware of certain drawbacks. So Dev, where do you think we stand as humanity in terms of introducing AI even as teachers?
Thank you for that, Irene. I think it's a pretty deep question. So I will touch on a couple of points here. So before we talk about the teacher, I think what is most important to understand is that with the rise of generative AI, that most people know with ChatGPT, but it's slightly before that, we finally have machines that can actually predict language. So in essence, what happens in generative AI is the machine is predicting what's the best possible next word and the next sentence. So for the first time ever, there is something alien to humanity that actually is able to work with language. And if you see the whole of humanity, be it from your cave paintings to the Gutenberg press to the internet, everything is held together by language. So I think that's the most important part. And that leads on to probably the capability of machines to also be able to teach us, because the primary mode of teaching, be it in any way, shape, or form, through pictures, through writing, through just dialogue, is language. So that's essentially where we are sitting today. And now jumping into what we do, we obviously focus on digital human teachers. And for us, our focus is to really humanize AI so that the AI can look and feel like a human being when it teaches. So we use digital avatars using AI technology to have that look and feel. But it actually draws down to our small model. And the model itself is a corpus of knowledge and language so that it can interact with human beings in any sort of content and context. So in essence, what does a teacher do? So just one example is a teacher, writes or sort of manages and makes the content that will be taught this year, maybe from books, etc. They prepare questions, they mark the questions, they give feedback, and of course they teach as a lecture style or one-to-one, etc. Today, AI can do all of these things, and our model can do all of these things. And that's what's really exciting, because we can use all of these things, and by using the right form of communication and conversation, we can really humanize that AI and allow it to teach as close as possible to human beings.
How AI is a teacher, the idea even different from traditional teaching that's been on for centuries, for generations, for thousands of years.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It's something that we have been asked before, as many people are intrigued as to, oh, is this AI now going to replace me as a teacher? Well, that's definitely not what we are aiming to do. Our goal is definitely not to replace a teacher, but is there to support and to further enhance the student experience or the learner's experience. So I would say, or we would say, that at the moment, we believe we are teaching and learning 3.0. where we have both interactivity and accessibility. Because if we're thinking about what was there before, we had to go to a school, we had to be able to afford it, we had to be able to travel there. We were in a classroom, which may have not been accessible for everybody to go and attend. It could be interactive, depending on how great the teacher is, so to speak, and what they did in the classroom, but it definitely didn't have both. And then we moved on to the more online learning, and that was definitely enhanced by the pandemic, where we would have maybe Zoom, like a one-to-one session. You want to book a session with me? Great, I'm available, I don't know, next week, Friday, 2 o'clock UK time. So you had to wait a whole week before you could, talk to me and interact. So that's also not that accessible. It can be interactive because we are doing a one-to-one and I do very personalized journey for you as a student, but also, again, not interactive and accessible at the same time. Then we had the other side of online learning, the MOOC platforms, where you could do the online learning in your own time. So quite accessible if you had a device and internet, but not interactive at all because you were reading the text or listening to a video or an audio or podcast, and that's about it. So we believe with this human AI teacher, we can actually have the best of both worlds. So we can have an interactivity and accessibility combined in one teacher.
AI teaching methods, okay, they are merely replicating human teaching, or they add that element that generative AI now offers? I mean, where are these two worlds colliding or maybe complementing each other?
Yep. So first of all, we need to understand this, that when an AI is teaching, if it's following the current teaching and learning systems, right, that's obviously built over the years through society. Some of them are new, some of them are old, like giving lectures. So it depends on what the AI teacher is trying to do. So for instance, in the early days, our AI teacher used to give webinars. Now that's really mimicking what a human would do in a webinar over Zoom or over Teams. So it's essentially trying to do the same thing. But today we have, and where we are also really focusing on, is called multimodal AI sort of models. What this means is they can go through text, they can go through images, they can go through videos, they can go through all sorts of ways of communication. So one angle is, again, what a human being would do. So they can obviously look at a picture and explain that picture to a student, right? So obviously that's what we want to do. But today AI can also produce a brand new image, not take it from the internet, but conjure up a new image, conjure up a new video, and show that as an example, the best possible example of what the discussion with that student is about. I think that's exciting. And again, that part which I just said, that interaction with that student. So today we can give the same level teacher to everybody, right? Quality control is there. Somebody doesn't have a good teacher, somebody doesn't have a bad teacher. But when that student starts learning with that AI, that's highly personalized. So the example that you see, the image that you see is perhaps going to be different from what I see, because it's going to be really fine-tuned to you. And just for the audience to sort of imagine this, old school AI, right? So all of us got access to the same Facebook or Instagram, right? But all of us see different ads. That's old school AI, pre-generative AI. But it can really shape to your personality. Now with language, think what we can do.
Yes, Dr. Pauldy, I know you're looking a lot into personalized AI for education. So can you spell it out for us in terms of learning styles? How AI is going to cater to all of us, because we're all different, right? We can be more productive if taught what that one way or another. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, definitely. Everybody is a unique, who also comes with their unique experiences and backgrounds and the way we've grown up and the way we see the world. And, even if we both have worked in a similar area for a while, we still see things in a different way. So, and that's when you have where the AI teacher then also comes in, because you bring in your own experiences. You can discuss and converse with the AI about those. You can ask questions about that. But on a different angle, you may be a visual learner and I may be not. So you like to learn by looking at images or maybe videos, if you're really visual. And again, the AI can also tailor that to your needs. You can either tell that to the AI, or that's just the way you learn. So that's what you pick up on when you're conversing with the AI. Wazal might say, I just like to talk because I'm actually quite text-based. I'm not really in the mood to see any pictures. I don't understand the images or graphs. Let's just stick to text and questions and answers. And that may be more suited to me. But in the end, we achieve the same goal. You like the topic, you love the topic, and you learn with the images, and I learn with the text, and we both complete the, let's say, the course or the program, just in a different way.
And that's important because here, more and more concerned that AI making us all like mechanistic, okay? All these predefined themes, all these generalized essays, students and teachers are facing now, right? So how to address the best instead of what students trying to create essay with AI and teacher trying to catch them, that's not the world we want to be in. So what's really the good answer, meaning that using the technology, absolutely enriching students and teachers' world by using it, right? But at the same time, again, developing as humans first, not like those who trying to get around the rules or get around, your school life. So Dev, what do you think about that?
I have a very strong view on this. So absolutely, we should be careful as to how these tools, because at the end of the day, this is again a new revolution, a new time of tools, how these impact how our children are growing, etc. Right? But we should definitely allow them to use AI as much as possible. It's not only about the AI teacher, any kind of AI tools. I'll just give you two examples. Perhaps that's, that will shed light on this better for our listeners. The first one, I know for a fact when people older than me, my uncles, etc., when they were young, it was sort of looked down upon to use too much calculators, etc., right? Because you were not doing the math yourself. Today, you go to any math class, any session, you use, all of these smart calculators, etc., because it's become part of the process. And just imagine if you were not allowed to learn that, how would that work? Actually, we've crossed through that. So the other example is in the late 90s and early 2000s, just imagine you were told, don't use the computer too much, don't use Microsoft Office, don't learn Excel. How would you get a job today? So if you don't use AI today, because AI is going to be and is everywhere, then how are you going to become employable tomorrow? How are you going to actually work with society tomorrow? That is a very important question we need to answer. And one thing to really note is, every time we have these booms of technology, right? You had your blockchain, etc., etc. But AI is something like internet. It's going to touch everything. It's not confined to finance, or it's just not confined to the ledgering system. Every single thing that you're going to do is going to have AI, because that's just where the current system is going to shift to. So you might as well not only learn AI, but also become adept to using AI technology from today. Because otherwise, I personally feel you're going to be in a lot of trouble in the years coming.
Pauldy, what's your view how AI will help us to adapt to different ages? Because we'll learn as adults, not only as children, right? To different styles, we mentioned that, and to different, basically, personalities even, right? We kind of touched on it, but I just want to hear about, about adaptability and flexibility.
Yeah, I agree with what Dave said before. It has to become part of our lives. It has to become habitual. We should all learn it and engage with the tools, because it can bring a lot of benefits. They can help us become more efficient. They could automate certain things, but it will be part of everything we do. Like nowadays, what do most people do when they wake up? They grab their phone. Well, that first of all, the alarm probably goes off on that device, and then they open their email or Instagram or the news. The first thing we do is check something online, whatever that may be for us. And I believe that's the same going to be with AI. We're going to not just write our emails from scratch. AI is going to help us. When we want to learn something, anytime, anywhere, we could use our AI teacher. We need to do something in our finance world. Well, we'll use an AI. And that will all be not necessarily an individual tool in itself, but AI is already and will only become more and more embedded within a lot of other softwares that we're already using. And sometimes we may not even know that we use AI, but we're already using it in many different applications. And that's only going to grow. And the earlier, I think, everybody, whether they're young or old, whatever profession they may have, the earlier, the sooner they start adapting to this and sort of upskilling themselves a little bit in terms of what does this mean? How can it affect me? What could I learn? I think everything will just slowly fall into pieces.
At the same time, right, let me play a little bit, right, the devil advocate here, because again, no one is really ignorant of this topic. Again, it's touching everyone, right? Everyone, who think about adults, kids, elderly, everyone, right? All of us. So in that sense, kids who will be growing up, in this new world, that's happening, right? Where this kind of not the line, but where this human interaction in AI, because at young age, I'm not a psychologist, I'm just a mother, and my kids grown up a long time ago. But point is that I do feel for kids, if they are attached too much, to those tools, and that's happening. Parents complain about it. I have my own answer how to deal with this, right? But from AI, from technology perspective, from professional and practitioners perspective, right? What the world do you envision in terms of kids who know the difference, kids who can interact in the real world, kids who need that human attention and human love, despite everything that's available, to them on their iPads, on their right phones and everywhere. So you know where I'm getting with this. Dev? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll take this question. We've obviously been very optimistic and energetic till now, but we also have to be absolutely honest with the listeners. So, too much screen time, as we know, and truthfully so, is not good for anybody. It's just not for children. It's not good for adults. It's not good for anybody. And unfortunately, this is a larger piece. It's not to do with AI. This is a larger piece on where society is going. So it's just not your phones and tablets anymore. Today, if you see more and more, you go to supermarkets, you go even into your cabs, into your cars, into almost any experience, you have a screen time experience. Now that has an overall effect on people, that has an overall effect on children. And I think it is up to the parents to really come in and determine how much screen time they want to give to a child, how do they want to control that, etc. But I think each product should also come with its own checks and balances in this, because you should give the tools to the parents to be able to control this, and a number of tools do that. And I'll just give you one example how you can also use this positively. So we've been working on an early beta product called Teddy AI recently. It's again for absolute children, right? It's from 4 years and above. It's a teddy bear study companion. So what's interesting here is A, parents get all of the reports. B, parents can obviously time it. Now, these are traditional things. But C, the child plays with this AI companion, right? But before the child plays with this AI companion, the parents can already tell, or rather prompt, this AI companion what they should also do with their child. So, for instance, if the parent says, when you are playing with my child for the next half an hour, make sure you also practice the multiplications of 2 with them. So Teddy's playing with the child, don't touch my belly and all of that. And then suddenly says, okay, let's practice the multiplications of 2. And the child practices the multiplications of 2 without knowing. So it's almost like when we were children, all of us used to watch the same Winnie the Pooh. But today, each child can interact differently with Winnie the Pooh. And that interaction can be productive because the parent is doing that. So whilst there is a lot of, risks associated with screen time, the products themselves can also tailor to give maximum value and also to allow the parents to limit whenever it's best for their judgment.
Beautiful. Pauldy, do you have point of view? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Dave said. I think it's very important that we see how is screen time being used. What do we do when we're on the screen? And I also very much agree we should still have human-to-human interactions. Whether those are, they can be online, like we are talking now, but they can also be face-to-face. They should be face-to-face. We shouldn't only be, stuck to the phone like this and, not doing anything else, or only be on our iPads or any other devices we may own. However, having said that, I still think it's also, these online devices can also be used to make interactions in the real world easier. A lot of people find it very scary to go and talk to a stranger, to go to a job interview, go to, next tomorrow you have to give a presentation in class. Oh, wow, nerve-wracking. So not everybody has someone that can help them with their studies, whether it's a parent, a tutor. It might not be affordable. People may not have time. People may not have the subject expertise or knowledge to help, let's say, their child or a friend. So I think their AI teachers and other AI tools can become very helpful. And there, I would say screen time is extremely useful, because if it can reduce, sort of the boundaries, or if it can reduce the barriers that person is facing and can overcome these challenges, and increasing their confidence then to maybe ask a question next time in class, or practicing for that interview you have coming up, or rehearsing the presentation a few times with, an AI as a teacher. Probably that will lead to much more benefits also in terms of their self-esteem and their overall general well-being. And then I think it's a good time. So there needs to be balance as to when we spend time on the screen and how we spend time on the screen. And if we get that balance right, I think that we're sorted, but I don't think we're there yet.
We used to say in previous years that gamification should be the huge part of education. AI, of course, offers limitless possibilities. It might generate all the interactions, experiences there. So, Dev, where do you think we're going in terms of gamification, making it fun, engaging kids in good way? So we're not afraid that they're spending more time in front of the screen, but basically at the same time providing value.
Absolutely. So I think the TV is a very good example. The TV is valuable. It was very valuable for me. My first formative English, so I'm not from the UK, of course, I'm from India originally. I learned by watching movies and English cartoons as well when I was a child. So, I used to watch Discovery. It's got its benefits, a lot of learning shows. But it also had, that same thing within, just use of a few more minutes or, a few more hours could become a bad thing. It could waste your time. You could be consuming wrong information, or you could be consuming information that was not really beneficial as compared to the others. So it's the same thing here. It's the same thing in the internet, actually. So let's move from the TV to the internet. Same thing. It can be very beneficial. It can be extremely problematic. Society has to choose whether they allow it or not. I think society chose that internet's benefits outweighed the problems it created. So it's allowed. Same with mobile. You can stick to it and become absolutely antisocial. And you have a lot of uses of it. Society chose that the uses outweighed the problems. I would guess so, at least. That's why we're using it. AI has the same thing. I think the difference here is, again, coming back to the original point of language. Everything that you're talking about, what you see on TV, what you read or consume on the internet, what you consume on your mobile phone, is all a derivative of language. It's a script, it's a video, it's an audio, etc. AI, for the first time as a machine, can create its own language-based output. That allows it to give us unlimited access or unlimited content as compared to the other things. Just like I said, TV was Winnie the Pooh, everybody same thing. In our case with AI, your Teddy speaks to you differently, my Teddy speaks to me differently. That's the difference. But end of the day, we have to take a step back and put our checks and measures on that screen, because I think that's where the main balancing act can come. And of course, to also look at what this endless possibility of content can be that somebody is consuming. But we've already been through that in our own generation. Just moving from the internet, from the TV to the internet was the same thing. You went from, 8 channels or 20 channels to suddenly 8 million websites. So we've gone through that. This one is going to be more exponential. But yeah, we need to look at that screen first and try and put our balances there. Dr.
Pauldy, what's your take on this?
I think society doesn't necessarily make life easier for us as well. If I think about, a general day, you would, let's say I drive with my car, I go to my office. I need to pay for parking by using my phone because there is no card machine there. It says pay by, this app. So you have to download the app and pay by phone. Then, I need to make a transaction. I need to pay for something. I go to the online app. Then I go for lunch and I go with my colleagues and we sit. The way we order, we don't ask the waiter, can you please take an order? They say, no, scan that QR code and, put on the menu, take what you want from the menu and then pay online. And you get an email receipt and they will bring the food and drinks, whenever it's ready. So I think by all of these things that we do in our daily lives, it's almost impossible in certain aspects to not use your phone. You have to use it. You need to authenticate for work. You need to pay everything via the phone. You pay, if you use transport, parking, you order food. There is almost nothing left that you have to communicate with another person. And I think that sometimes makes it also difficult to then not be stuck to your phone, because everybody, you do everything on it. It is almost an extension of you, just in a different format. And you use it for everything you do. So where do we then draw the line if society has already opened up everything that we do, what we used to do by talking to someone or by using a different device, not necessarily a screen, but just, let's say, a bank card, where do we go when it then comes to learning and specialized learning, personalized learning, where actually screen time can be much more beneficial than me ordering my lunch from the phone that I can actually also talk to a person to, because they're working there anyway. They are going to bring my order. So sometimes it's difficult to see where that line is and how we can extend the boundaries of where we currently are operating in.
Sure. Can you share some examples, case studies, okay, where real schools, real institutions implement AI as a teacher effectively? I mean, any good kind of stories from your own experience and practical applications?
So I think for us, it's quite a bit of a story. So in 2020, we started digitally teaching, and it was done with trainers from ourselves, from our team, so human trainers. And we actually scaled to about 11 countries. So we didn't expect that. Probably the pandemic helped. And we scaled so fast that we even had to take, tens of volunteers from top universities in the UK as well to support us. And in this scaling, we found that the only thing that we couldn't really scale was the human teacher, because no teacher or trainer teaches in the same way. We were scaling so fast, we couldn't even take people and train them. There's a shortage of teachers anyway, and so on and so forth. So at that time, we said, let's experiment. This is pre-ChatGPT, etc. We were also using more structured styles then. So we said, let's experiment with AI, because a teacher is supposed to be intelligent, artificial intelligence. Let's try it. So in 2021, we took out our first model, not generative AI, but we used that, and it worked incredibly successfully in refugee camps in northern Iraq. So that was the beginning of the journey, that it really showed us that it works. We are research led, so we always use research scales, etc. when we work with students. And what we found was they even found our avatar at that time and the teacher to be human-like, to be warm and competent. We use these scales apart from usability, etc. They found her trustworthy, and that was the signal that it works. So that was our first big sort of aha moment, if you want to call it, which really got us into this line. Apart from that, today we work with universities, in Asia, in the Middle East. So we are working with universities. I think the latest university that has come in with us is Bahria University's Business School, which is the top business school of Pakistan. First time we are doing this with them. So that's very exciting. We also came back when we went to give a keynote talk in Chile this time. A lot of interest there. At the moment, we're talking to a couple of universities in Chile itself, and also with the University of Sao Paulo, to see if they will take it up in the next couple of weeks. So that's exciting. And apart from us, I think if I remember the news correctly, the only other university that's using an AI teacher to teach an entire module, which we are doing, we're teaching an entire module, and they have their own model, is Harvard. So that's also showing that even the top ranks are looking at this and experimenting with it.
Fantastic. Yeah, Pauldy, your thoughts on, the actual case studies, the actual examples, and that aha moment, okay? We want to hear about successes that you're making,
Another example that we could also plug in our AI teacher to an existing learning platform, an online learning platform like a MOOC. So we did that with a MOOC platform in South Africa. This was also 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And this was tailored or targeted at underserved women. And most of them had dropped out of whatever education they were doing before. So they were starting to come back and learning new things. So they could use the platform to learn, but a lot of them had no really clue what they were doing. So when we had plugged in our AI teacher, it didn't look as nice as she was now. It was more like a chatbot function, but you could talk to her, ask her different things. She was guiding you through what you could do, what options there were. And what we did, we again did a research on this, and we surveyed as well as held focus groups with these female learners. And what they said is 74% of those women said they now knew what to learn next, which was quite impressive. And 77% said they would now come back to the platform and further engage in their learning journey, i.e. they were not going to drop out. So that was very, very interesting and positive news. So in that way, for us, or at least for me, that was a bit of an aha moment, because I thought, okay, they may like it, and they did. They loved interacting, they asked lots of questions, they could clarify doubts. That is quite expected if you think you plug in a chatbot. That's the whole purpose of it, right? You expect that you tick off those boxes. But I didn't necessarily expect that now so many knew what to learn next. So many said they would come back to the platform. For me, that was quite eye-opening. And we did see afterwards that this was not just words. They did actually go back and continue their learning journey. So that was quite interesting as well.
Can we please leave our audience with few takeaways? What do you think we need to remember, in the coming months and maybe years about AI coming to help teachers and teaching us as human teachers do? Dev?
Fab. So I'll probably end with this one. This is my current favorite because I think it's very important. It's both for interacting with AI teachers, and lots of them will pop up even as chatbots, etc., apart from what we do, which is the real human-like one. But it's also a skill you need to develop. Today, although we are advancing so much in technology, I think our fundamental strengths are becoming even more important. And if you remember, the three fundamental strengths that human beings should really possess are the 3 C's, which is creativity, communication, and critical thinking, right? So I just take one here for time. No longer do you have to really learn extensively about coding, or let's say for law, you don't have to read hundreds of books anymore. AI can do that for you in minutes. But AI can't still take their own decisions. So also the content that our AI teaches, some human being is there which tells them what to do, right? So your communication part is very important, which is prompting for AI. And the simplest example of prompting is, what you write to ChatGPT. Hi, ChatGPT, tell me, or do this for me, right? The better you prompt, the better the output. So it's no longer the better you can code, better the output. You don't need to know that anymore. But simply said, the better, more clearly you can communicate with AI and with your AI teacher, the better is the output, or better is the clarity that you're going to get from them. So please, please, please practice that. Don't shun yourself out from, ChatGPT or our AI teacher or everything else. That communication gives you the power to control the tool. Otherwise, the output that probably you wanted is not going to happen. Thank you.
Important. Yeah, Dr. Pauldy, what's your takeaways for the audience?
It's nice that Dave already stole one of my points about communication, so I can't use that one anymore because it's also one of my favorites, because I believe communication is already key when we are doing anything we do in life, whether it's written communication, writing emails, sending text messages, using WhatsApp, or whether it's verbal communication, picking up the phone, having a call. Communication will always be part of our lives, but now we have to extend that to communicating with the AI, whatever AI tool that might be, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a chat, whether it's even something that can create images for you. You have to communicate. So I agree on that point. And I would like to say, don't be afraid to use any of these tools. A lot of people come and say, oh, I've never used it. I don't know what to do. It's all a bit scary. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, you cannot break it. So just give it a go. Try that and try them all out. Loads of them have free options as well to use. Obviously, come to our platform, have a look there, tell us what you think, but go try it and see what it can, how you can benefit from it. And the more you try, hopefully the more benefit it will get for you.
Thank you both so very much. I encourage everyone to follow Dev Aditya, to follow Dr. Pauldy Otermans with Oterman Institute, all right? And they do exciting work out there. Please come back to SaugaTalks, okay, in a few months to tell us about your great progress, about your great journey, because I'm excited. I'm sure our audience will get excited. Yes, and how did you say it, Dr. Pauldy? Give it a go?
Yeah, give it a go.
Give it a go. Perfect conclusion. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.